Hi, you fragrance lovers out there. Welcome to my channel, The Honest Perfume Reviewer. I can't believe a subscriber just gave me a compliment for my haircut because I really need a haircut. That's so funny. Thank you anyway. Well, maybe my bangs are sort of coming out a little bit and maybe I'll do something with that. Anyway, today I just thought I would put together a quick video about Oud. I have been working, with the elderly lately, kind of an extra job, like a couple days a week, going to their houses, helping them with chores around the house, like cooking a little bit, maybe giving them a shower, just easy things like that, giving them their medicine and making sure that they're okay. And then I'm not really allowed to wear perfume, but then on the way home I have these incredible cravings. I keep some perfume in the car for the way home so I can just kind of like spray myself with something. And lately I've been really craving Oud fragrances. So I just thought I would bring out, everything I have in this category and tell you a little bit about my favorites. Or about what I have. Some of them actually not so much favorites, but I think they're worth mentioning because I think that it's really important in a perfume channel that you get both the good and the bad. Well, there's none of these fragrances I think are bad. I just think that maybe I wouldn't have spent my money on them. First I'll speak about this one called Cuir Noir. It's like black leather. That's the direct translation of those words. This is really not that leathery to me. This has rose, it has amber, green, nutmeg, spices, it has oud. All the bottles from Armani Prive, and these black bottles with the gold tops are like oud fragrances. This is a beautiful fragrance. It was created by Natalie Lorson. I absolutely love the fragrance, and it's a super easy to wear, interesting fragrance. Very soft. The leather is really soft. The oud is soft. Everything is it's just so beautifully blended. My only problem with this one, this, by the way, I only have like 10% left. I bought it like this from a friend. I thought I'd give it a chance, is the performance is really, really weak, this fragrance, and the sillage is like non-existent. I have to like go to my skin to find the fragrance, and I think that kind of performance just is not good enough for me to pay full retail price. And I want to be able to smell myself. That's kind of my main objective for wearing perfume. If I can't smell it, then, why should I wear it? But sometimes I do put it on and just kind of like do sit like this, maybe in front of the TV or something. And also if I have a friend over wants to try something a little bit different, but is a little afraid that it'll come off too strong, this is a perfect fragrance to suggest for them to try. Then I have another fragrance called Terryfic Oud Extreme. We had a discussion about this at the latest meetup. Someone said that he says this one smells like cumin and it smells like a sweaty London taxi driver. I don't know why he has that association. To me, it's beautiful oud. It only lists like 4 notes. I think it's like leather, saffron, oud, and maybe sandalwood or something. But it's to me, I don't get much leather, and I don't typically like leather so much either. It's just a really, maybe it's a soft suede kind of leather note. It's super beautiful. It does have some spices. Maybe it does have cumin. I'm not sure. I don't know. It's, to me, I guess that's a difficult note for this guy. I really, really recommend this. And I have seen, this is quite an expensive fragrance, like over $300, maybe even more. I can't quite remember, but I have seen specials where they sell this with a travel size, like 10 milliliter with it, like a package deal. And the price has been quite low. So you really have to look out. So in general, I just suggest if you want a fragrance, you have to wait for the perfect timing to buy it. I mean, some fragrances never go on sale, but usually there's some way of getting it cheaper if you just wait a little bit and look around. You might find it secondhand, you might find a special, you might find a 20% off kind of thing for a short period. Highly recommend this. I think it's really beautiful on man or woman. I have smelled it on a guy I dated that I'm no longer dating, but it's really good on him. It's really good on my son. He has a decant of this. It smells really good. But I find it unisex. I wear it myself. Love it. Then one of my favorite oud fragrances that I never wear, but I love it, is Oud from Maison Francis Kurkdjian. It's called just Oud, and this is the Extrait. And this one does have kind of a band-aidy quality, or someone said it smells like a dentist's office, and I'll have to say I know exactly what they mean, but it is nevertheless super beautiful, super kind of like dark, comforting, interesting. I mean, I often stand at night and just bring this out and just kind of wave it in front of my nose because I just love the way it smells. I've thought about getting a full bottle, but then I've realized I never wear it because it's kind of like, it's really strong. And I think maybe I'm afraid it's going to come across as maybe a little bit weird or like a little bit too heavy or masculine leaning maybe. But it is really beautiful. But what I do wear regularly, not often, but regularly for like special events or if it's a special evening, is this Oud Satin Mood. And like 4 sprays. And then you can basically smell it on yourself for like up to 24 hours I've experienced. I would put it on like 2 hours before leaving the house maybe. And then I'm still know that I'm really going to smell, I mean, people are going to really smell me. This is a beautiful oud fragrance where the rose, it's a rose in a completely different way. This was kind of a door opener for me when it comes to rose. It's the composition. This is kind of a semi-gourmand, vanillic kind of fragrance. I think it has violet too. I can't even pick out notes of it. I just think it's super beautiful. I think it leans a little bit more feminine, but I know guys that wear it, and I mean, it's not overly feminine, but it's just, I think this is a masterpiece. It is no question about it. I don't use that word a lot, but this is a masterpiece for sure. But I don't wear it. It's not super wearable because it's really, really strong, and I can like smell it on my pillow like the next morning. Another fragrance that a lot of people think remind of Oud Satin Mood, and I know my friend this was the first thing she thought about when she smelled Murmur from Pigmentarium. This is kind of a house that's not much spoken about. It's from the Czech Republic. I think they're really different, especially when you spray them side by side. This is a lot more animalic. I think it has like musk and civet, except like for the rose oud, maybe patchouli too. But I think it's the civet that that really kind of like distinguished them both. This is really animalic, but in a not like as animalic as like some Francesca Bianchi fragrances or like a super barnyardy oud or anything like that. But it makes it interesting. It's a really, really good fragrance. Check out that house. It's quite affordable actually if you can get your nose on those fragrances. Okay, this one I brought out. I talked about this in my last video, Tubereuse Neuf from Tom Ford. It's actually tuberose fragrance, but I was kind of surprised to see that it had oud in the base. And I think this is how they use oud a lot. Like, it's not an oud fragrance, but they put in oud to give it kind of a nice background. So this has like white florals all in kind of in the front, and in the back it has like a nice warm base with oud and some other base notes. I don't know if it's like some other woody note in here maybe. I'm kind of on the fence about this one if I love or hate it, and it's really interesting to see that a lot of the fragrance reviewers, they have really different opinions about it. Really interesting. And then there's Material from Amouage. This is kind of I've talked about this before. It's a really nice like spicy vanilla with resins and some smoky notes, I think. And then there's oud in here as well. It's from Cécile Sorokian. Amouage, really love that. And then I also got out these 3 from Cartier, or actually I had passed them on to a friend already because I decided that these are not for me, or at least this is nothing that I'll buy full bottle of. But I kind of wanted to try them again after a subscriber had said that I just don't understand about oud yet or something like that. And Mathilde Laurent that has made these is quite spectacular, the way she works with oud, and this is the best quality oud, etc. And I'm still not at the point where my nose can pick up like different oud qualities, or like oud from Laos and oud from this and this. I don't know. I just know that I can pick up oud, but I can't like, but for me it's more about the composition. I'm telling you if I like this fragrance or not. And my opinion about the Cartier fragrances, this Oud and Ambre, Oud and Santal, Oud and Menthe, they are, to my nose, not interesting enough to justify the high prices that Cartier charges. But if you have a Cartier shop in your town, I mean, do go in there and smell them. Don't expect good service. I mean, the service, they have very polite and very nice service, but the people in there don't know a thing about fragrance. I've been in our shop in Stockholm several times. They're very nice. They gave me these samples, and the samples are really fancy, 3.5 milliliter each, and they're not sprays. I, of course, would have preferred spray, but they're just beautiful. And when you put them on your skin, the whole thing doesn't fall out. It just kind of gives you, actually now I did kind of get a little bit of, but usually you can lose the whole thing if you're not careful. But this you can actually almost put, now I got a little more on my skin there, but you can actually give yourself just a drop on the skin if you want, because they're really kind of easy to use. So they gave me these 3 samples like all tied up. She kind of disappeared behind the counter for a while, and she came out with these like this with a nice red ribbon around them. So they were very nice in there. I just don't think that the price is quite, it's Cartier for me is, maybe they should just stick to watches and what they do best, you know, jewelry, things like that. I mean, I think they're quite cream. Oud Santal is kind of a creamy sandalwood with oud. I do like it. I just don't think it's like a unique experience, or like this is something that I think is spectacular in any way. I can't see that this quality oud is better than any other of these ouds that I've talked about. Okay, so I have also Rose d'Arabie. It's from the bottle looks like this. And this was really much spoken about like a few years ago when I was just getting into niche. People were talking about rose, oud, patchouli fragrances like all the time. I was really into it then. Now I think it's a little bit too much rose. I think it's a little heavy to wear. It's very oriental. And I don't know, I just kind of got bored with it, actually. But I never get bored with Oud Satin Mood. This is something that will forever be in my collection. I just love it. And then of course, I have my newest fragrance within Oud. I think this is my newest one. Rosendo Mateu number 7. It's a patchouli oud vanilla. This is really beautiful. It does remind me a little bit of Desert Rosewood from Goldfield and Banks, but this is more wearable. It's not quite as heavy, but this has really good performance, but it doesn't choke anybody out. That Desert Rosewood was just like one spray and it filled the whole upstairs. Like it was, I don't know, it had some orange note in there that I don't know, we didn't become friendly. So I got rid of that bottle. But this one is really, it's just so good. I love patchouli. This is pretty heavy on the patchouli. I think I'll have to do a patchouli video soon, like a new one. I love this fragrance a lot. It's super easy grab, although it's a little heavier. This is what I want to put on my way home from work for sure. Like when I've been with the old and sick people all day and I haven't been able to wear perfume. Anyway, well, these weren't some recommendations on oud. Is there an oud fragrance out there for you to recommend? I have to also mention Oud for Greatness. I absolutely love Oud for Greatness. I have a little sample. I've been through half of it in 2 years. So like 1 drop of Oud for Greatness lasts a long, long time. The performance is incredible. If you haven't gotten your nose on that, it is a must. I'm not a big fan of Initio fragrances, but Oud for Greatness is incredible. 1 drop fills the room, but in the best possible way. So those were my ideas about oud for today. Bye-bye.